Give y'all a minute to get on here. Here on. I gotta pull over. Yeah, my job, I have to I have to have my phone on my dash from one of my jobs anyway, so I'm always driving with my phone on my dash because of my job, so there's no way around that. But when I'm driving, I don't pay attention to the phone. I pay attention to my surroundings. Great. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. 1 second. Leave it to me to make a mess. Sorry, y'all. Good morning, honey. It broke. Actually, the hose side fell out of it. Okay, I gotta get everything situated because I'm getting ready to be driving, and that way I don't look at the phone. All right, I hope you all are doing good this morning. Y'all, I've got past couple days, I've got a migraine that just won't quit, and I haven't had migraines for a long time. I'm getting ready to stop at Walmart anyways, and I think I'm gonna buy me a bottle of Excedrin. I'm not supposed to take them, but I've got to do something. Either that or I'm going to urgent care to get me a shot because I can't do this. I hate migraines, and it's been 2 days. Well, it's been about 3 days now, and it's still here. Okay, now we're on a straight stretch, so be about a 13-minute drive straight. No turns, nothing. That's why I do the live when I'm on this straight stretch on my way back to work on town. Because my husband works in a different town, his first job. Oh, what the hell is that? I don't know what that was. Come on, truck. Why are you, like, going so slow? It's 55. Yeah, this is what some people cannot drive. They go so freaking slow, and they don't understand that's going to get you killed before going fast will. If I don't acknowledge you, I'm sorry. If I come to a red light, then I will try to look at the chat and acknowledge you all, but I don't do that while I'm driving at all. That's why everything in my car is hands-free. Even my phone calls is on my steering wheel. I can text from my steering wheel. You press one button and then you talk, and it does it all. You can say send call to, and then the person's name, or send text to, and then the person's name, and I don't have to do anything with my hands at all. So it's pretty cool actually. Let me get over. All right. All right, today's the day, y'all. I've got up a post on my community post. Please share it. Please, please, please. If there's anything you've ever shared on here, please share that. Please make a phone call. If you don't want to make a phone call, there is a spot where you can write to them. I'm done. I want him charged according. I want her arrested. It's not right for her to be free, no charges. She could have prevented this. All right, this video, this live, I'm going to explain it all from beginning. So if there's anyone new that watches this, they will understand. They can go back and watch prior videos. So on the 13th of this past month, we got a phone call. It was at nighttime. It got Lexington. Thomas is being life flighted from Winchester. Winchester, Kentucky is where it happened on Lexington Road. We didn't quite understand what he was saying at first because he was crying and he was upset, so he had to say it like a couple of times before it actually registered with us what was going on. And if I'm not mistaken, it's today the 14th, 13th. If so, it was a month ago today. So we get to Lexington and we go in the hospital. Me and my husband, my son's on his way from Mount Sterling, and he's a little bit behind us, about 10-15 minutes behind us pretty much, because he's coming a lot farther distance than we were. So we get to the hospital and we knew something was wrong right off the bat because security checked me and my husband. I mean, really checked me and my husband. Didn't just want our IDs. They asked for our IDs first, and then when we told them who we were and gave them our IDs, then they checked us, like for weapons. It was weird. Been to that hospital numerous times with many, many, many family members. We've never been ID'd and we've never been checked. Never. So we thought that was weird, but we didn't. Our minds was already just worried about Thomas, trying to figure out what's going on. So we finally get out of being checked from the security guard. So we go over to the nurse's station, the emergency glass window, and we asked the lady. We said, we're here for Thomas Levi Reed. We're the grandparents on the father's side. And she's like, yeah, he's here. And like, but the father's up in ICU also. And I said, no, the father's not in ICU. My son is the father, and he's getting ready to be here any minute. He's just a few minutes behind us. She said, what do you mean? The baby, Thomas's mother, said the father's in ICU. I said, that is not my grandson's father. I said, my grandson's father is behind us. The man apparently in ICU that you're referring to, she's only known 2 or 3 weeks tops. She said, are you serious? I said, yeah, I'm serious. And I was pissed at that point. Because how do you say someone else is the father? Well, we sit down and we're trying to figure out, what's going on. No one will tell us nothing. Well, about that time my son gets there, security asks him his name, makes him give his ID, and then checks him. So I'm like, what is going on here? Well, he comes over to the desk where we was and says, I'm the father, Thomas Levi Reed. Well, a nurse comes, gets him, and takes him back immediately and told us to sit where we were at. They would be right with us. I'm like, Frankie, this don't sound good. This just does not sound good at all. Well, Frankie, my husband, got pissed, and he's like, I gotta go outside and get some air or something. I don't have a good feeling about this. So we walked outside. When we walked outside, nurses followed us and stood at the entrance and just watching us. And me and him asked each other, said, why are they watching us? We couldn't figure it out. We were like, what is going on? So I said, I don't know. I said, well, I'm going to go back in. And so I went back in, and when I went back in, a different security guard said, I need to check you. I said, you all just checked me not even 10 minutes ago. He said, no, you could have went out and got a weapon. I said, why would I need a weapon? And I wasn't thinking, I didn't know the circumstances at that point. Now it all makes sense. So I'm sitting there after he checks me, and I'm sitting there waiting right by the door where they took my son back. Still no one's told us anything. My son hasn't come back. Well, about that time, 3 nurses come out from that room where they took my son. A bunch of people, like 20 people, come out. Another few nurses, a couple of security guards. One went to the front of that group, and then one went to the back of that group. And I'm like, what is going on here? With the security guards, I'm like, is there somebody from jail here? It's kind of what I was thinking. Well, all of a sudden I heard the nurses over here say, that's the Miller family. Nathan Miller's family, we got to keep them, and pointed at me, the Reed family, we got to keep those families separated. And I'm like, why do they got to keep us separated? Because, see, I didn't even know the man's name at this point. You know, we didn't know what was going on at this point. And I'm like, why? So my husband comes back through, they check him again. And he's like, Millie, why do they keep checking us? I said, Frankie, I don't know what's going on. I said, but they just said they had to keep that family they just took out separated from us. So that family was walking out as my husband got coming back. Well, then they got that family out. They come, the nurses that took them out, and security guards come, got us, and took us straight back. And we were like, we get to this little room in, and the baby's mama, I don't even like calling her that. She was in there. Her little sister was in there with her little sister's boyfriend. And we were like, how is Thomas? What is going on? And the baby mama was like, I don't know yet. They haven't told me. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know yet? You called my son and told him to get up here and was bitching to him to get up here. So you know he's been in a wreck and you don't know yet? Because I'm thinking if my kid is in a wreck or grandbaby, I'm gonna, that's the first thing I'm gonna want to know when I get there, and I'm already gonna know what's wrong with my son or my child. She didn't even know. And I'm like, why doesn't she know? She's like, well, they haven't told me yet. And I'm like, what do you mean they haven't told you yet? You're his mama. She's like, well, I don't know. Well, she wouldn't even look at me. She wouldn't face me. She would not eye contact with me for nothing in the world. And that kind of gave me a feeling like something's wrong. Between that and what happened in the waiting area, something's wrong here. Well, about that time, there was about 6 to 10 nurses and doctors that come in our room. And they told us originally that baby Thomas had a brain injury, that his skull was, how do you say it, broken or whatever. He was bleeding. He was losing blood from other places in his body. They didn't know how long that his stomach and his legs, he didn't have oxygen to the lower part of his body. They didn't know how long there was no circulation. What else did they say? They couldn't really do anything because of the swelling. They were trying to figure out what their move was going to be next because of all the trauma to him and all the swelling. They couldn't take him back for like CT scans or anything like that because they didn't know really what they were going to do next, because they couldn't determine all of his injuries because they couldn't do the CT scan because of all the traumas. So at that point, we still thought we had hope. You know, we did. We thought we still had hope. Well, after that, I'm like, so the doctors go out and they wouldn't even let us, none of us, not even the mom, dad, none of us seen yet. And we were like, Kayla, you were in the wreck, because that's what we were assuming, that she was with him. She's the baby's mama. I'm like, so what'd they say about you? Are you okay? Whatever. She's like, I wasn't in the wreck. He was with Nathan. And I'm like, who's Nathan? And my son spoke up and is like, Nathan is the dude that she just told me last night in text message was dangerous. And I begged her not to let him go with her and with him. And she kept letting him call him Dada. And she said he loved spending time with him. So she was letting him go with him every day. And I'm like, this is not the time for this. Because, you know, like I said, I thought Thomas still had a fighting chance. And I'm like, but I will say, I'm not going to let my child go. I spoke up and I said, I'm not going to let my child go or grandchildren with someone that I've only known a few weeks. And her sister said, well, if your son had been there, this wouldn't have happened. I said, we're not going to do this. I said, my son's not there because she was cheating with someone, and apparently is this dude he's got pictures and videos of because the neighbor gave him. I said, so, you know, my son tried to make it work with her, and this ain't the first time that she's cheated. There's been numerous times that he's got her on camera cheating. I said, so you're not going to blame my son. My son's tried to do everything. My son wanted to take Thomas, and she wouldn't let him. And I said, she's the one that kept letting baby Thomas go with this man that she's barely known, that she told my son was dangerous. I said, so we're not going to do that. I said, not at all. I said, she's barely known this man, and she's letting our grandson call him daddy. I said, no. Well, we stayed there up to about 2 something that morning, maybe 3. And then the next thing I know, we had to go home because I had to get my other son that morning, had an appointment, and I had to take him. So I told him, I said, we're going to leave for a few hours. I said, I will be back. And I said, if anything happens in between that and when we get back, let me know. Well, we were getting ready to be on our way back after we had took our other son where he needed to go and what he had to do. And, because it was for my other son's health, we had to. Junior called and said, Mama, y'all gotta get up here right now. It's not looking good. And, so we asked him, we said, what do you mean it's not looking good, son? And he's like, well, they think this, they think that. And so we get up there, and, are you not going to cross? I just told y'all to go. And he's like, Mama, they said he has been internally decapitated. And that's when I lost it. After that, we started asking the baby mama questions. She wouldn't give us specific answers. The social workers drug tested her in the hospital. As soon as she came in the hospital, apparently, they told my son. Also, they had already blood tested him, and we already knew that night that he was 3 times the legal limit. I can acknowledge y'all now because I'm parked. So he was 3 times the legal limit. We found out through that. They took off 8 bags of alcohol out of him. So, they, sometimes it gets hard talking about it still. Really hard. It's easier than it was to say and talk about, but it's still hard sometimes. So we found out that she admitted that she lied to the cops about the timeline. We actually have that recorded. The 3rd time she's told it. She felt bad and was going to go tell the cops the truth, but then her family member talked her out of it. A friend of ours paid for the headstone. Well, said they were going to pay for the headstone. We just found out yesterday they haven't paid for it. But the baby mama, because she wouldn't let my son have any control over the funeral at all, nothing. She's made this hard for him the whole way. If we had spoke up after before the funeral, she had done made it clear we weren't going to be allowed to attend. We had a private video we had on Facebook because of it, because she wasn't going to let us go. She was going to keep us from the hospital, but yet the whole time we were in the hospital in the PIC unit, PICU, and that's for underage people, she let the killer's parents down in our ICU waiting room for the children. She let them come in baby Thomas's room. So we have to sit here and watch these people that are the parents of the murderer be in our faces. So after the funeral, she was trying to get a headstone, a double headstone. She wouldn't let Frankie Jr. pick out a headstone for just baby Thomas. She was wanting a headstone for her and baby Thomas. So he just agreed with her so he could shut her up so that, everything could go smoothly. He didn't want to argue anymore. He just wanted to do this for his son and grieve and not be arguing at this time. Well, thank goodness the people who were going to pay for the headstone who haven't yet, that's another issue we're having at the moment. Some reason they've not paid for it. They volunteered to pay for it, and now we found out they haven't paid for it. they said, we're not paying for her headstone. Said, we'll pay for baby Thomas's. And me and Frankie was glad. We said, Junior, we're so thankful for that because she doesn't deserve that. And I don't even know why she would even ask for that. That's selfish. Well, she's got a defense attorney. Nathan's already got a defense attorney. They've had a couple of weeks out now. They've gotten all their stories straight, the parents. They've all been together this whole time. She was instructed not to be near him till court. We've got video proof. She's been with him every night. She called... that just moved and scared the crap out of me. She called my son and was like, you and your parents and your brothers, they're not going to hurt Nathan, are they? They're not going to hurt Nathan, are they? She's worried about the killers. She's worried about him. She's with the man who killed her son. Then she had the nerve to call my son's lawyer. My son had to get heir of estate. She was going to get half. He was going to get half, so that through this they could get the hospital bills paid. They did get a small percentage covered where it was a child that's going to be covered, but they didn't cover it all. So the insurance company, my son wanted to ensure that all the bills were paid, the life flight, because they did a lot of measures before they knew what was wrong with baby Thomas, trying to save it. A lot. And she had the nerve. She canceled. She fired her attorney. Said, I'm not suing him. I'm not suing his insurance. That'll hurt him in the long run trying to get insurance for a vehicle. And I'm thinking, you care more about the murderer of your sons not being able to get insurance for a good rate than you do your son who was murdered, bills being paid and headstone being placed. You care more for this man than you do him. I'm blown away by this. Well, they took Jalen, the daughter, at the hospital and gave it to her granny, who has custody of her oldest son. Because we found out during this, the reason why the granny has custody of the oldest son, Jackson, is because she used to be on heroin and she left him with someone and social services was called and he was given to the granny. So now the granny's getting custody of Jalen also, which is a good thing because the granny is a great little old woman. She is on our side. She gave us her number at the funeral and the hospital and said she's not going to stop till she sees her in jail, and she has custody of Jalen. So, y'all, they charged him, but they didn't charge him for anything regarding Thomas. They've not charged her. We were told he went to the parents' house, dropped his daughter off right before the wreck. And I know I'm leaving a bunch of stuff out. I wanted to try to get this all in there. So if someone new who's not familiar with this sees this, they'll understand. And they'll go to my community post and they'll make those phone calls or messages. Or share even. I don't even know where I was just at. But yeah. So he needs to be charged according... I believe the parents need to be charged because when he dropped his daughter off there, they could have stopped him. They didn't. He went in. I was told, drink a few beers with them. They could have kept Thomas. They could have called Kayla. They could have took the keys. They could have done something. So many people could have stopped this. The governor signed some kind of a bill, I'm being told, that they released him early May 1st for a shooting in Lexington. He shot somebody in Lexington, Kentucky. They let him out early. So the governor could have prevented this. There's so many people that need to be held liable, and none of them. He should not have left the hospital. He should have went straight from the hospital to jail for a parole violation. But instead, they gave them all this time to get out and get their story straight. And she's admitted to several people. We have it on recording. She's lied to the cops about it all. We have it. We have recordings. We have videos. We've got so much proof of stuff. There's so many people that apparently don't like her boyfriend, Nathan, the killer of my grandson. They have been sending us stuff from Lexington, from Winchester, from other cities in Kentucky, giving us all the information we need. We've not had to ask for nothing. Nothing. This one gentleman, he can't stand him. He's been sending me messages from the very beginning from Lexington. Apparently, him and his family are drug dealers, is what we're being told. Heroin. So, I'm praying to God that he's not charged accordingly, because hopefully this dude's not giving them information regarding drugs. Because I'm not good with that. I don't care about the drugs at this point. My grandson needs justice. And why it's taking so long, everyone keeps asking me, why wasn't he charged immediately? They've got all the proof they needed. And they did. In the hospital, they knew how drunk he was. They had that. They knew she was on something. They knew she was drinking. Why? So, I do not understand why not. Why aren't they charged? And I'm not waiting no longer. Yes, I know they move slow, honey, but you know what? Why they move slow? They've done had all this time to get out, and they've all got attorneys. They've all got their stories straight. What happens if they got married? They can't testify against each other. And for all we know, they have gotten married. So, you know, it's not right. They should have at least charged them and held them with something, you know? And so many people are still messaging me and writing to me and like, why aren't they in jail? You know, he finally got arrested, 2 days ago? But not for charges regarding Thomas. She's not been charged at all. She's still out here running free, having a good old time. She's done got her nose pierced. She's been partying it up from what we're being told. And pictures and stuff we're receiving. Yeah. So, I have already shared the community post. If you can make some phone calls, if you will share this, if you will share that. And I do want this to get views. I do want that community post to get as many views and shares as possible. Yes, I do. You're damn straight I do. It is time to get justice for my grandson. And I have hashtagged justice for, number 4, Thomas Levi Reed. It's time. Everyone's got their signs together. We are getting ready to go down and start picketing. And it's time. It's time. I know. Thank you, honey. It is. And we don't understand. No one understands. That's why we are going vocal now. It's time. No more waiting. I respected all my son's wishes, done everything he's asked me, and I talked to him yesterday and the day before, and I have his blessings now to go ahead and do this. Because, see, my son was still believing that Kayla was innocent here, the baby mama, and that he didn't want to see her charged. He thought she was going to live with the guilt of this for the rest of her life. He didn't see what we were all seeing, that she doesn't care, that she's on drugs again. She just doesn't care at all, that she doesn't have that mama gene, that mama instinct that we had. He sees it now. It was hard for him to take, because he's like, Mama, how can I love someone like that? How can I love someone who is with the person who killed our son? He said, how? And I told him, that's not on you, hun. That's not on you. Exactly, and that's him. He's got a good heart. All my kids got good hearts. And he didn't want her to suffer anymore. And now he sees, and he told me, he said, I'm sorry. He apologized to me and his daddy. He said, I'm so sorry. I should have listened, y'all. I said, don't apologize. I wish we were wrong. I'd give anything if we were wrong. I said, I'd rather you have been right. I said, it doesn't always feel good to be right, honey. I said, especially with this. This doesn't feel good at all to be right. And no matter what, we'll never bring Thomas back. This will not bring him back. The only thing this will do is to prevent them from hurting someone else. And that's about it. Because even with them in jail, it doesn't serve any other purpose. Because we'll never get to see him smile again. We'll never get to hear that beautiful laugh again. We'll never get to see his little expressions that just, he always had the funniest expressions, and I'll never get to hear Memo again from him. I'll never get up running him when he sees me and Papa running up to us and hugging us as tight as possible. I'll never get a little kiss on the cheek from him again. The Christmases, him excited, the sparkle in his eyes, tearing open, him and Jalen. Jalen helped him tear open because he was so young. Helped him tear open all his presents on Christmas and his birthday and the parties, prom, driver's license, the girlfriends, sports, his wedding, his children, his grandchildren. There's none of that for us. This will never bring none of that back to us. And it won't. And if you are watching this and you see this later on, if you have an alcohol or a drug problem, I am begging you, please get help. Please. You do not want to hurt a family the way we are hurting. You do not want that guilt. You do not want to be in my shoes. You do not want to be in the shoes of Nathan or Kayla or his parents, someone who could have prevented this. Reach out if you need help before your life gets so damaged you can't make it right. Reach out. There's more to life. Way more to life. And it's hard for me to say that. It's hard for me to ask people who are addicted to either drugs or alcohol. It's hard for me to ask them to reach out. It really is. But I have learned from this. This pain is something no one should ever feel. No one. And you can prevent this. There's Uber, there's Grubhub, there's DoorDash, there's taxis, there's Instacart. You can get beer delivered to you. You can get free rides from Uber if you're drinking or drunk. You do not have to be on the road in this day and time with our technology. You don't. There's no excuse for what happened here. It was pure selfishness. And if you have a small child under the age of 6, put them in their car seat properly. Put that seatbelt around them. Take that extra second, because we are now told that if he had been put in the seatbelt properly, if he had been buckled up properly, he would have survived. I'm begging you. Please make that phone call. Please share this. Please get help. Please do not get on that road impaired. This is a pain that never goes away. It doesn't get easier. I don't care what they say. The more time you have to think about it, the more what ifs, the more whys. It's just, it leaves you with a hole in your heart full of questions and full of regrets. You think you're in a dream, think you're in a nightmare, and you can't wake up from it. So I'm begging you, share this. Share this everywhere, not just on YouTube, on any social media you got. Take the time to make that phone call. If you don't want to make that phone call, pray, share, write a message. Help make a difference. Help me get justice for baby Thomas and help save another life. I love y'all, and I gotta get my day started, and thank you. Thank you for being here and helping me get through this and being there and being a rock for me and giving me some support because I truly appreciate it more than you will ever know. And thank you for being part of the next journey in getting justice. Because this is my new life. This right here. Hey, honey, I was just leaving. I love you. I've got to get my day started because I got to go to the doctor today, too. But please rewatch it, Jenny, because this is the live that I want shared, and the community post is up that I want shared. And I love you guys so much, and don't let this place or anyone change you guys because you all are rare in this world on here. You're very rare. And I absolutely love you all so much. And I appreciate y'all. I do. Even if I don't say it or show it sometimes or comment it, I just want you all to know I do see all the comments and I do appreciate each and every one of you. And I'm thankful I've had you all to help me through this because it's been hard. And it's really hard. I don't have family other than my kids. So y'all have been a blessing to me. Y'all really have. And I will keep you all updated. And because I'm going to be at every court proceeding, every single one. It's just beginning the next journey. Everywhere you go, hashtag justice number 4, Thomas Levi Reed. I love you all, and I hope y'all have a wonderful day.